Join me as we lift the curtain and I give you a look behind the scenes of the 30-Day Survival Challenge. I'm Zachary Fowler, and that's Chris Thorne, and this is the 30-Day Survival Challenge, Texas. There's only one rule. If you want to eat, you gotta catch and cook it. Whoa, if you're just tuning in for the first time, this is definitely a last sort of episode. It won't spoil it for you, but I recommend you start at the beginning of the 30-Day Survival Challenge, link in the description. And for the rest of you that stick around, enjoy and thanks for watching. That is good.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz, you ungrateful creatures? Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. The great Oz has spoken!
Alright, so the live stream's over. We just did the Q&A and the weigh-in. You saw that. I filmed this behind-the-scenes bit after our Day 25 live stream that we did while we were out there. The live streams, which did not turn out very well. And not to be confused with the live premiere of the edited episodes that we made and put out once we got home. And I thought I'd show you, because you're probably wondering at this point, how in the world we made this happen. Jen comes out for a visit, and I use her phone because my US Cellular will not work here as far as transmitting the live streams. If you saw it 2 or 3 back, it was a horrible live stream because of that. So I'm using her phone to live stream, and the signal booster right here. We got this WeBoost hooked to the power pack that I use out here to charge all my stuff from All Power, and it plugs into the WeBoost. And there's all the way over there is the antenna in the tree. It's a very simple setup I bought years ago from when we lived in the yurt to make our cell phone signal like instantaneous. It's amazing what it does for 500 bucks. So like if you live in a place with bad signal, you get yourself one of these and you turn it on, it's like you barely even touch a YouTube video and boom, it comes to life. So we turn it on for the Sunday live streams. The rest of the time, my All Power thing is out there in my Basecamp tent. Right there, got my All Power solar panel, which normally would be connected to the power pack that sits on the table here. Got myself a little folding chair off of Amazon. My suitcase, that's the dog food we use to bait the traps for the crawdads and stuff. But stuff that I'm not using, you know, or swapping out. Like I've been switching back and forth between me using my KC knife and the Fiddleback Forge knives and things like that. So all my camera equipment sits in here nice and safe, and my charging cords and different parts of camera equipment. That's when the camera I switch to at night because it has night vision, whereas this one, the E.D.C, doesn't. So I swap back and forth during the day, night and day camera. And this is all sponsor equipment in my laptop case that when I need to, I swap it out for different parts. For those of you wondering, why in the world does he need so many darn knives? I don't. These were gifts from our sponsors, the sponsors that made it possible and provided us with the funding so that I could spend the 4 months it's taken to film for a month out there while surviving, coming home and editing and releasing these videos. So if you've ever made it to the end of one of my videos, you might have seen this, and you can see the banners at the bottom are for these companies, the sponsors, and there's a link in the description for the sponsors with links to their stores that support this channel when you shop those links. Each and every sponsor I worked with, I am proud to say I loved their gear, and not a single piece failed the entire time we were out here, and some of which I have been working with for years and has never failed me. To show it off. And over here is where the All Power charger sits that connects to the solar panel. And this is my big mess of charging stuff. So I'm charging my night batteries, usually a power pack for my phone so that I can use that. I use my phone for slow-mos and or cover photos, and that charges that in the evenings. And then my Mac laptop, my MacBook Pro laptop here with this is my storage unit so I can store everything onto it. So I have to come in here, take my SD cards, load them onto this so it's backed up on here, protected so that I don't lose a single thing. And Chris's compound bow is in here. Nothing fancy, I don't hang out in here. I come in here every like 3 days and load the footage onto here, onto the Lacier drive, so it's backed up and protected. All the stuff I'm showing you is in the link in the description, my Amazon store. It is the best stuff. It's the stuff that I could afford to get after winning $500,000 in a loan, so it's not always cheap, but it's the best stuff. I've been rocking this gear for 2 years, and it all is still doing really great work for me and making great videos. And then I come in here like once a day and swap out all my charged batteries for the dead batteries, and I'm off and away again out there doing my thing all the time. If it was raining, I don't come in here. They don't need to. I'm comfortable back at the camp. This is just so I can load the footage, make sure it's safe, make sure it all makes it to you on YouTube, and that my cameras and things are safe when they're not in use. The rest of the time, it's all with me or on my person, protected by the shelter and the Warbonnet Hammock, and that you see there in all the videos. There's nothing fancy, no tricks, but because we're filming it, something has to happen here so that it makes it to you safely, and that's the only secret. That's the only thing. I don't take advantage of that Basecamp for anything as far as it comes to doing this adventure out here, outside of taking care of my cameras and loading my footage and charging my batteries. The rest of it all happens right here. If my socks get wet, I hang them inside my hammock or put them by the fire. They don't go in there to dry. With my sweatshirt, same thing, all of it. You know, my air gun, I don't put it in there to keep it air conditioned and comfortable. Not that it's air conditioned, but it sits right here. I cover it with something. If I have to, like you saw on the previous 20 days at the beginning, there was my shelf that I built to keep my stuff out of the rain and protected. All of it happens right here, right in underneath my Warbonnet tarp. That's what protects me from the elements. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you're gonna ask questions about that I should be answering for you about this. Of course, the edit. This is the most important part of bringing this whole series to you. Without the editing, all that magic would just be a bunch of footage that would be very boring to watch, the turning on the camera and turning off the camera. This is where it all happens, and this is the gear I did it with. You've seen in the tent there, I'm loading my footage onto my MacBook Pro. That's the same one I used to edit with, and I got the stored footage that I brought back with me here, and then that connects to a faster drive that allows me to operate it through the computer onto a screen, so I can lay out on this large screen my timeline, because there's multiple layers of things happening there. When I throw up music, I have the music, but then I'm keying that to the cuts in the videos, all kinds of magical stuff happening. And then when it comes to the voiceovers, and I'm talking about the Dear Diary, I bring my mic over. Dear Diary, why do hot dogs come in packages of 10, but hot dog buns just come in packages of 8? And who's to fault? It can't be helping their sales, because a thrifty person would just buy a loaf of bread, and then they'd still have plenty of bread left for sandwiches when they're done. So this is where I've spent the majority of my time since I've been home from Texas in December, cranking out those episodes 16 to 24 hours a piece to edit these things, to make them as magical as I possibly can. But now I am sick of being in front of the desk. I need to get out there and start having some more adventures, but I will still be cranking out some content for you. The Canada series with the Wooded Beardsman. I'm Zachary Fowler. That's the Wooded Beardsman, and this is
Season 4 of the Wilderness Living Challenge.
Yes! Woohoo! Bear meat and bear fat with some adobo. That's so good. First grouse with the slingshot.
Fresh grouse and bear fat. Can't be that.
And adobo. Key ingredient. Grouse ducking. Oh, so good. Somebody's got fish envy. I got 2 and he's got, no, I'm just kidding. We'll be airing by the end of the week. I'll put up the first episode. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Fowler out. And for those of you that have been waiting patiently for new Trick Shot Tuesday episodes, I will have a new one of those for you next week. Oh! Grouse ducking. Since we don't have a stuff to make a bushcrafter ducking fully, it's just gonna be a 2-bird grouse ducking. First you take the grouse, you clean your grouse, got your duck, You clean your duck, and you jam it inside the duck. Jam it inside the duck. Sounds so funny.